So today I'll be unboxing this iPad because that allows me to show off a new feature from exe.dev. They now have an iOS app. And there we are. So a vanilla iPad, the only thing I did is I added this exe.dev app. Let's open it and then we can give you a couple of fun demos. So one way to think about exe.dev as a cloud provider is that it gives you an instance, and on that instance, you can get 50 VMs on a personal plan. And the way you start up a VM is you can hit this plus icon over here. You get this default name. Let's also add voice here because it'll be relevant for today's demo. Hit create. And as part of the VM spinning up process, you can also select a model. Because it just came out, I'm going to go ahead and go for Claude Opus 5, but there's a couple of models to pick from. You get a bunch of tokens as part of your personal plan. There's also a default directory here, but that looks good. But what I can go ahead and do now is give the LLM instructions to do something with this VM environment. In the app, you can also configure a couple of nice voice options to use very good voice models. So you can also do dictation. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit that icon. I would like to make an app that allows me to record my voice while on the go. It should be a simple web app. When I hit a button, it should record my voice, kind of like a to-do list. When I hit another button, the item needs to appear in the list below, and we want to make sure that every item is added to a SQLite database somewhere. Don't forget about the remove button. I want to be able to add items and remove items. So there you go, speech to text. This will also work on your mobile phone, of course. Hit go, and conversation is kicking off. In this case, it's going to go and try to build this with Go. If you want to use maybe something else, I can hit pause and say, nah, please use Python instead. Use UV and Flask. And it's now going to go into a different direction. But the thing about this agentic harness, I guess you could say, it's called Shelly. And the whole point of Shelly is just it knows the infrastructure very well. So it knows how to set things up on these VMs. But this is just the conversational view. You also have access to a terminal. So you can just SSH in because, you know, it is just a VM. You can also put a web app in here. We're going to see a preview in a moment. Right now there's a port, but it's unbound. But when this conversation is done, a web app can appear here. There's also some settings that you can go ahead and visit as well. But the nice thing about this overview, if you go to the left panel, is that this is just one VM. You can do a whole bunch on other VMs as well. And right now everything is grouped by VM, but you can also choose to just look at all these individual conversations because you can have more than one conversation happen inside of one VM. But the thing that's really neat about having this as an iOS app is that it's now super easy to do all of this on the go. And also the thing that's just good to point out is that right now I'm using Shelly, but if you're behind a computer, of course, you can SSH in. So you could also do open code or whatever you like to your heart's content. If you have a Bluetooth keyboard, you can also just do these sorts of things in a cafe. Now, hopefully it's no surprise that whatever is happening on your iOS device will also be reflected if you go to the admin panel of exe.dev online as well. So you can see over here, bold missed voice that now appears. I can go ahead and click it. I get a nice little admin panel, CPU usage, a little bit of token costs. Those are all being reflected here. I can also go here to Shelly, so I can confirm the entire conversation online as well. One thing that's particularly cool, by the way, is that you can see all the code diffs, but you can also see that Shelly likes to make these screenshots just to make sure that everything is working nicely. And yeah, I can actually see that it tried to test this app. So let's do that ourselves as well. HTTPS. I can go to bold-mist-voice.exe.xyz. I can go ahead and hit record to see if this works. Don't forget the food for the cat. That seems to work. Don't forget the food for the dog. That also seems to work. So there you go. This little web app seems to be good for a to-do kind of an application. I can also see I can remove the item. I'm also able to type by hand. But the thing that's really neat about this isn't so much that we have something online. It's not just the fact that this is nice and sandboxed with whatever agent you're doing. Another thing that's nice is also the networking layer. So if I were to copy that URL and if I were to go to a incognito browser, if I were to paste it in again, it's going to complain that I'm not logged in. So if you are on a device where you're not actually logged into the browser in your exe.dev, well, that also means that you can't access any of the apps. Now, you can, of course, choose to put your own custom domain on a VM, but by default, the network basically just says, look, you can only access this app if you are logged in. So if you're keen to just make a lot of these helper apps for yourself that you can use on your phone, that's super easy to do. And in fact, you can make these apps not only for your phone, but you can also do it on your phone. So that's pretty neat. And I've also got lots of these kind of almost unhinged use cases where I don't want to run it on my own machine, but I do want to give it a quick spin. And for those sorts of use cases, exe.dev just fits really nicely. On the app, though, there's one extra feature that I do want to show you. So I'm back in the app, and now we're going to pay attention to what's happening in the upper left corner. So as you saw before, we have the overview over here where you can look at all your separate VMs. There's this other overview here where you can see all of your conversations across all of your VMs. So if you want to explore that, that's totally possible. But there's also this microphone icon here. And this is kind of like voice mode from ChatGPT if you have your headset on walking in the park, that kind of a feeling. And I'm going to hold it close to the microphone so you can hear.
Gotcha. I can hear you.
How many VMs do I have?
You have 7 VMs.
What's the most recent one that I spun up?
On it. Most recent is Bold Mist Voice.
How many requests were made to it in the past hour or so?
1 sec. I can't see request traffic. I only have VM and conversation metadata, not runtime request logs.
Oh, it sounds like we might want to add logging then. Can we come up with a way where we can do the logs such that you can also access it?
Let's sketch a simple logging approach you can query through conversations. Yes. Add structured logging on the VM, then have you...
And I'm cutting it off here, but I hope you get the picture. The whole idea is that you have a voice mode that you can just access by just carrying your headphones in the park. And just like Shelly is able to understand the VM and how it works in the greater scheme of things, that voice mode can also do that on your behalf. So if you're keen to maybe play around with agents, maybe in a new way, kind of old school because you're using VMs, but also new school because you also get that networking layer and that sandboxing for your agents, this app is pretty neat. And exe.dev is a fun cloud environment, I should say.